Hey there, friends. It is Monday, and I am taking you on a journey this week. As some of you know, I recently moved to Fort Wayne, Indiana from Virginia, and I'm in a brand new studio. And I don't know about you, but once I get the whole house set up, I'm usually a little tired, and the studio looks so good, and I don't want to make a mess in it. And so I really struggle to figure out what to get in here and do. Luckily for me, and hopefully for you, I have a card deck for my friends at C&T Publishing, and I am going to just take those cards and let it tell me what to make. So with that, let's take a look at the card deck. Okay, so here is the card deck. It is called the Quilter's Inspiration Deck from Teresa Millies, and it is 100 cards to unleash your creativity. Explore endless inspiration with this dynamic card deck. Randomly selected design elements allow you to take a break from decision making and revel in the simple joy of creativity. Contains 100 cards in 10 categories. Includes a booklet with instructions, questions, and prompts to lead you through your creative journey. Let's take a look inside. Okay, so here is the instruction book. Let's take a look here. Options for different quilt blocks you can use. You can spread out the cards and choose a block, or challenge yourself and pick blindly. Palette starter, or to help you over a color hurdle. Each card shows the hue and includes a tint and a shade of that hue. This shows you combinations that you may not have considered. Okay, don't forget to rotate the color wheel in your mind. If you've decided you want to use red as your main color, make sure that you look at the color wheel with that in mind. Design cards offer guidance on the directional movement of the design and layout. Smaller parts that build the blocks. They in themselves are simple elements and can be used to stand alone or add interest in the overall design. Fabric choice. Move past that potentially frustrating and confusing design decision, and in combination with the color and color theory cards, make fabric choices effortless. From simple to complex to spark ideas for laying out your blocks. These include a range of emotions that offer a place to start or a way to acknowledge or consolidate your feelings. Number cards can be used in any situation where you need to randomly determine a quantity. Quilting pattern. The designs offered here are ranged from a simple stitch in the ditch to more complicated feathers. All right, I have all of my cards laid out by category, and I am about to just start randomly choosing from each category. And something that I want to say that I'm going to do with the card decisions, I am not necessarily going to follow all 10. Even though I'm going to draw 10 cards, I might not do all 10 things. I am also going to treat this a little bit like a coin flip. They say when you can't decide something, you should flip a coin, not because you want the coin to decide for you, but if you're disappointed when the coin lands heads or tails, that tells you that you should have chosen the other option. So I'm going to pull 10 cards. I am not going to use all 10 cards. And if the cards that I pull do not spark joy or lead me down a little bit of disappointment, we're going to pick another card. Let's start with the block. And the quilt block we will be using is Flying Geese. Down. What does down mean? Should I build the design from the left to right or up and down? Let's pick our element. Square and a square. Mood is going to be bold. I kind of feel like these cards are trying to tell me something. Alternating tile. Ding, ding, ding. Okay, I can get on board with that. Let's go to color before color theory. Teal. It's my favorite color. Is this cheating? Oh, it feels like cheating. Pick this one. Triadic. Ooh, okay. That's a little bit outside of my range when we're talking teal. So what does that mean then? That means like a darker yellow orange and more of a magenta. I don't usually work this way, but we're going to try it. We will take this card. Number 1. How do we feel about number 1? Okay, let's just leave it for now and let's see. Fussy cut. Nope. I can tell you right now, I don't have any fabric that's worth fussy cutting. That's just not the kind of fabric that I have in my stash or that I lean towards. So, repurposed. Also a no. Sorry. I know it feels like cheating, but when cards turn over and they disappoint me, I'm just going to move on and pick another one. Small motif. Got it. Okay. I have some of those. Feathers. Okay, so I'm definitely going to have a flying geese block. I am definitely going to have a square and a square. I think I'm going to do the alternating tile, and maybe flying geese and a square will be the tiles. I am definitely going to stick with the blue green and the triadic color theory. I know I have small motif fabric, so we will go with that. And I adore feathers for quilting. Okay, so I am taking these cards. Oh wow, I guess I am using almost all of them. All right, well, here are the cards. Let's go pull some fabric, and I will be back in a little bit to show you what I have chosen. I chose this for my blue-green, and I chose this for my magenta. For my yellow, I chose this. I think that when we put them all together, that they're gonna look pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about this combination. Now I'm gonna go and do some sketching to see how I make this happen with these fabrics. Good morning. It is Sunday, and while I would like to give 0 stars to the week that kept me out of the studio, I actually took a lot of time for self-care and doing stuff with family, so I can't be too mad about it. I'm also supposed to get on a plane tomorrow, and I'm going to see how much I can get done today. Hopefully I get the binding on the front so that I can have something to work on the plane. Let's get to it. To do a recap of where we left off, when I left you on Monday, I was going to go do some doodling. After doing some doodling, I have added in a fourth, and I think I'm going to be taking out the background. This blue might now be my background, so we'll see how that looks. One tip though, if you are going to be drawing out your own design for this, set a timer. I spent way too much time on Monday night working on this. I'm not going to show you the design quite yet. We're going to keep that a little bit of a secret, and let's get into some cutting and piecing. Okay, the quilt top is done. So for anybody who was freaking out maybe a little bit over me saying I was going to try to get this all done today so that I could take it for binding on the airplane tomorrow, I'm just doing an 18.5-inch square mini quilt so that I can hang it on my wall. I feel like for the first go at using these cards, I didn't want to dive into a project too big. But so far I'm really happy with it. I love the color palette. I love that I swapped out the background fabric for this blue, And now it is time to do some basting and quilting. All right, it is all quilted up and I think it looks so cute. I'm really excited about this project. I am going to try to find some fabric to bind it with and get that sewn on the front, and I will see you tomorrow on the plane for some hand binding. Okay, I'm just gonna be real with you for a second. I know I said I was gonna work on the binding on the airplane, but yeah, I ran into some technical difficulties with doing that. So you are seeing me bind this quilt in my living room after my trip. Because I packed a pack of needles. There were 2 left in them, and I thought, great, an heir and a spare. And I went to pull my project out of my backpack before I got on my first flight, and this. I very gingerly but thoroughly checked the backpack, and I could not find the needles anywhere, and so I had to wait. So let's finish up this binding, let's get it done, and when that's finished, I'm gonna come back and give my final review on this whole project. Okay, so the project is done. I already have it hanging here in my studio, and it makes such a nice addition to all the other mini quilts that I have hanging around in the room, and I really, really like it. It came out nice. And now it's time for my full review of the Quilter's Inspiration card deck. I think this is a pretty good way to ease myself back into the studio after a move. It's very hard for me anytime I've had to move house to set up a new studio, and it's so clean because I actually put everything away where it belongs, and it's hard to want to get in there and make a mess. So I really like that this is a great little jump start on my inspiration to get into making a project. And now I'm ready to start conquering everything that was on my whip list that I brought with me from Virginia to Indiana. So just a couple of thoughts. I think that you do not need to pull all 10 cards. I think that if you have a brand new fat quarter bundle that you're not quite sure what to do with, it's a great starting point to maybe pull some blocks, some quilting ideas, and some piecing layouts. I don't necessarily think you need to pull any of the color cards or the number cards. if that's where your starting point is. If you're completely stumped, start with all 10. I started with all 10 because I wanted you to see what that would look like. And some I discarded pretty quickly, others that I kept about halfway through the project. And I think in the end, I only ended up using about 5 of the 10 cards. So no need to pull all 10, pull whatever works for you. If you're interested in getting your own copy of the Quilter's Inspiration Deck, I'm going to put a link below that you can click or tap on to get your own. And I think you're really going to enjoy this, especially if you're feeling in a rut, or you have a fabric bundle you don't know what to do with, or you got a new pattern but you're not quite sure what the fabric should be to go with it. It's a great jumping off point, and I'm really grateful to my friends at C&T Publishing for sending this to me. And I will see you next time. Bye for now.